A day in the life on the International Space Station. If you woke up tomorrow on the International Space Station, ISS, your life would instantly get weird. No gravity, no showers. Your floor might be someone else's ceiling. And the coffee you drink today might literally have been someone's sweat yesterday. Welcome to astronaut life. Morning in microgravity. Astronauts on the ISS follow a pretty strict schedule. About 16 hours of work and 8 hours of sleep each day. They don't follow the sunrise, because the sun rises every 90 minutes as the station orbits Earth. That would be way too many mornings. You don't roll out of bed in space, you float out. Each crew member has a small sleeping area or a sleeping bag attached to the wall, so they don't drift around and bump into equipment. They zip themselves in, kind of like hanging in a soft cocoon. When morning comes, according to the schedule, you unzip, push gently off the wall, and drift into your day. Getting ready, space bathroom adventures. Let's be honest, everyone wants to know about the bathroom. On the ISS, the bathroom lives in a small stall with a door. Right in a busy module filled with exercise machines and equipment. You really want that door, because there's almost no gravity. The toilet uses airflow instead of a normal flush. Fans pull air, and with it, anything you'd like to get rid of, into the right place. Astronauts use foot restraints and handholds, so they don't float away mid-mission. For urine, there's a hose with a small funnel on the end. Turn on the fan, check that air is flowing the right way, very important. And go. The airstream carries the urine into the system, where it can be processed and recycled. Yes, recycled. NASA's fancy new toilet, the Universal Waste Management System, UWMS, is designed so that treated urine goes into the life support system and becomes clean water again. Astronauts joke that today's coffee is tomorrow's coffee. For solid waste, there's a small seat with a container underneath. Again, air does the work of gravity, pulling everything down into a lined canister. When it's full, the canister is stored and eventually loaded into a cargo ship that burns up in Earth's atmosphere, along with everyone's former lunch. Showers don't exist in space. Instead, astronauts take sponge baths using a small amount of water, 2 washcloths, and rinseless shampoo. Water clings to the skin in little floating blobs, so extra water gets wiped off or vacuumed away. Toothpaste can be swallowed or spat into a cloth. Is it glamorous? Not really. Is it impressive that humans figured this out? Absolutely. Breakfast in orbit, space food and menu fatigue. There's no grocery store in orbit, so every bite of food is shipped up on cargo spacecraft, like SpaceX's Dragon, Northrop Grumman's Cygnus, or Russia's Progress. These vehicles bring food, water, equipment, and even fresh fruit when possible. Most food is either freeze-dried or heat-stabilized, kind of like fancy camping meals or military MREs. At NASA's Space Food Systems Laboratory in Houston, scientists test, package, and even taste test these meals to make sure they're safe, nutritious, and still edible after months in storage. Drinks start as powders. Each drink packet has a one-way valve so you can inject water, shake it, and then drink with a straw. Nutrition is a big deal. Astronauts' diets are designed to keep their bones, muscles, and immune systems as strong as possible. NASA has even tested enhanced diets loaded with extra fruits, vegetables, and fish rich in helpful compounds, like omega-3 fats, to see if they help the body adapt better to spaceflight. But here's the problem. Imagine eating the same types of meals over and over for months. Even good food loses its charm. This is called menu fatigue, and it can make astronauts eat less than they should, which is dangerous for their health. NASA actually has astronauts fill out weekly food surveys in orbit to track how much they still like what they're eating, and to find out how quickly their favorite meals become not this again. One study even looked at things like freeze-dried mango salad, to see how these shelf-stable fruits and veggies fit into a long-term, healthier menu. So yes, astronauts are doing cutting-edge science. But sometimes the struggle is simply pretending to be excited about reheated space lasagna one more time. The workday, space plumbers, lab techs, and science experiments. After breakfast, it's time to work, and astronauts work a lot. They're on duty about 16 hours a day. A typical schedule might include running science experiments in different lab modules, fixing and upgrading equipment, checking life support systems and air filters, doing experiments on themselves. The ISS is packed with laboratories from different countries. Astronauts help run research on everything from how fire behaves in microgravity to how plants grow without normal gravity. They're also human test subjects. For example, scientists on Earth study how an astronaut's immune system changes in space. Astronauts regularly give blood, urine, and saliva samples, so researchers can check things like stress hormones, virus activity, and special immune proteins called cytokines. Because of stress, radiation, and microgravity, some parts of the immune system don't work as well in space. Viruses that usually stay asleep in the body can wake up again. So even if an astronaut looks fine, their immune system may be working overtime. In other words, astronauts spend part of their day being scientists and part of their day being the lab rats. Workout time, fighting invisible gravity problems. On Earth, your bones and muscles are constantly working against gravity. In orbit, that pull is basically gone. The result? Muscles shrink, and bones lose calcium and become weaker. Without a plan, an astronaut coming home after months in space might have trouble even standing up. To fight this, astronauts exercise about 2 hours every single day. Their gym equipment sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. ARED, Advanced Resistive Exercise Device, a machine that uses pistons and flywheels to mimic weightlifting without actual weights. Astronauts can do squats, deadlifts, and other strength exercises while floating. T2 treadmill, a space treadmill with bungee cords that strap astronauts down so their feet stay on the belt when they run. C-VIS bike, a stationary bike that tracks speed, heart rate, and workload, so trainers on Earth can monitor fitness. Researchers have tested different kinds of workouts and found that shorter, high-intensity sessions can work just as well as longer, low-intensity ones. Which is great, because time and equipment are limited in space. So yes, even 250 miles above Earth, you still can't skip leg day. Staying sane, sleep, stress, and talking to Earth. Space life isn't just physically tough, it's mentally tough too. Astronauts deal with motion sickness, tight spaces, constant noise from fans and equipment, and being far from family and friends. Sleeping can be tricky. The station is never really quiet. And remember that sunrise every 90 minutes? That can confuse the body's internal clock. Astronauts get about 8 hours of scheduled sleep and use eye masks and earplugs to block out light and sound. To stay connected, astronauts use special internet phones that send voice-over data links, along with email and sometimes video calls. There can be a 1-second delay, which makes conversations a bit awkward, but it's better than nothing. They also use amateur, ham, radio to chat with schools and hobbyists on Earth. Free time is limited, but when they have it, astronauts might float by the window in the cupola and watch Earth pass below. Read, listen to music, or watch movies. Take pictures of storms, cities, and auroras from orbit. It's part science mission, part extreme isolation experiment, and part very expensive group project. Night in space. After a long day of science, repairs, exercise, and about 1 million checklists, it's time for night. Astronauts climb into their sleeping bags, which are tied to a wall or inside small crew cabins. There's no lying down, there's no down at all. So their bodies just float in the bag. Some astronauts say it feels like sleeping while standing up. Others feel like they're in a cozy, weightless hammock. They might drift off to sleep. Knowing their home is traveling around Earth at 17,500 miles per hour. Passing over cities, oceans, and entire countries while they dream. Life in orbit versus life on Earth. Life on the ISS is like life on Earth, but turned sideways and shaken. You still eat meals, but they're floating and pre-packaged. You still go to the bathroom, but with fans, funnels, and a lot of instructions. You still work out, but in a gym where every machine has straps and bungees. You still go to bed, but you zip yourself to the wall so you don't float away. The space station is a closed, carefully controlled world, where every drop of water, every breath of air, and every bite of food has to be managed and often recycled. It's strange, it's challenging, and honestly, some parts sound pretty gross. But all of this daily routine, every workout, every survey about food, every blood sample and bathroom system test, helps scientists learn how humans can live away from Earth for longer and longer. Someday, the lessons from this floating practice home might help us build bases on the moon. Or send people to Mars. Until then, astronauts on the ISS will keep doing what they do best. Floating, fixing, experimenting, recycling their coffee. And showing us what everyday life looks like, when up and down are just directions on a map of home.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Microgravity. Definition: a condition in which gravity is very weak, causing objects and people to float instead of being pulled strongly toward the ground. Example: astronauts experience microgravity on the ISS, which allows them to float freely while working. 2. Cocoon. Definition: a protective covering or enclosed space that surrounds something and makes it feel safe or sheltered. Example: the astronaut slept in a cocoon-like sleeping bag. Attached to the wall. 3. Stall. Definition: a small enclosed area, usually designed for privacy, such as a bathroom or changing space. Example: the bathroom stall on the ISS has a door to give astronauts privacy. 4. Module. Definition: a separate section or unit that is part of a larger structure and serves a specific purpose. Example: the space station is made up of several modules, used for living, working, and experiments. 5. Foot restraints. Definition: devices designed to hold a person's feet in place, so they do not float away in microgravity. Example: astronauts use foot restraints while exercising or using the bathroom in space. 6. Canister. Definition: a container used to store or hold materials, often sealed or closed. Example: waste is collected in a canister before being loaded onto a cargo ship. 7. Fatigue. Definition: extreme tiredness caused by physical effort, stress, or lack of rest. Example: long work hours in space can lead to fatigue if astronauts do not manage their sleep well. 8. Military MREs. Definition: packaged meals called meals ready to eat that are designed for soldiers and do not require cooking. Example: space food is often compared to military MREs because it is pre-packaged and long-lasting. 9. Edible. Definition: safe and suitable to be eaten without causing harm. Example: scientists test space food carefully to make sure it remains edible after long storage. 10. Cutting edge. Definition: extremely modern and advanced, using the latest technology or ideas. Example: the ISS uses cutting-edge technology to support human life in space. 11. Cytokine. Definition: small proteins in the body that help control immune system responses and communication between cells. Example: scientists study cytokines to understand how astronauts' immune systems change in space. 12. Resistive. Definition: designed to create resistance, often used to strengthen muscles by making movement harder. Example: astronauts use resistive exercise equipment to stay strong in microgravity. 13. Flywheel. Definition: a rotating mechanical device that stores energy and helps control motion. Example: the exercise machine uses a flywheel to simulate the feeling of lifting weights. 14. Mimic. Definition: to copy or closely imitate the behavior or appearance of something. Example: the space treadmill mimics running on Earth by using straps and resistance. 15. CVIS. Definition: a stationary exercise bike on the ISS that allows astronauts to perform cardiovascular workouts in space. Example: astronauts use CVIS to keep their hearts healthy during long missions. 16. Leg day. Definition: an informal phrase referring to a workout session that focuses on strengthening leg muscles. Example: astronauts cannot skip leg day because strong legs help prevent bone loss. 17. Sane. Definition: having a healthy and stable state of mind. Example: staying connected with family helps astronauts remain sane during long missions. 18. Cupola. Definition: a dome-shaped observation area on the ISS with windows for viewing Earth and space. Example: the astronaut floated into the cupola to watch Earth pass beneath the station. 19. Cozy. Definition: comfortable, warm, and pleasantly enclosed. Example: some astronauts describe their sleeping bags as cozy, despite the unusual environment. 20. Gross. Definition: unpleasant or disgusting, especially related to hygiene or waste. Example: recycling urine into drinking water may sound gross at first, but it is safe and effective.
Comprehension questions. 1. Why do astronauts on the ISS not follow the natural sunrise and sunset cycle? Answer: because the ISS orbits Earth every 90 minutes. Astronauts would see 16 sunrises a day. Instead, they follow a fixed schedule. 2. How do astronauts keep themselves from drifting while they sleep? Answer: they zip into sleeping bags that are attached to the wall, so they don't float around and hit equipment. 3. Why does the ISS toilet use airflow instead of water? Answer: in microgravity, nothing falls downward. Airflow replaces gravity, pulling waste into the right place. 4. What purpose do foot restraints and handholds serve in the ISS bathroom? Answer: they prevent astronauts from floating away while using the toilet. 5. What happens to urine on the ISS after it is collected? Answer: it is processed and recycled into clean water for drinking and other uses. 6. Why don't astronauts take showers in space? Answer: water floats in blobs in microgravity, making showers impractical. Instead, astronauts use sponge baths and rinseless shampoo. 7. What kinds of food are typically eaten on the ISS? Answer: mostly freeze-dried or heat-stabilized foods, similar to camping meals or MREs. 8. What is menu fatigue? Answer: when astronauts get tired of eating the same meals repeatedly and start losing interest in their food, which can cause them to eat less. 9. Why do astronauts fill out weekly food surveys? Answer: to help NASA monitor which foods they still enjoy, and to prevent health problems caused by eating too little. 10. Why are astronauts considered both scientists and test subjects? Answer: they run experiments, but they also participate in studies that monitor how space affects their bodies, such as immune system changes. 11. What happens to muscles and bones in microgravity if astronauts don't exercise? Answer: muscles shrink and bones lose calcium, becoming weaker. 12. What types of exercise equipment does the ISS gym include? Answer: the A-RED, a weightlifting machine, the T2 treadmill with bungee cords, and the CVIS stationary bike. 13. Why might sleeping on the ISS be difficult for astronauts? Answer: constant background noise, limited privacy, and the confusing light cycle from seeing so many sunrises and sunsets. 14. How do astronauts stay connected with people on Earth? Answer: they use internet phones, email, video calls, and amateur ham radio to talk with schools and hobbyists. 15. Why is daily life on the ISS important for future space missions? Answer: it helps scientists learn how humans can live long-term in space, which is essential for future missions to the Moon or Mars.